Could the best D2 football team beat the worst D1 football team? The answer will shock you. We had so much positive feedback on the last video that I decided to do another one. Okay, not really, but I promise this will be better. Also, subscribe. So, college football is divided into 3 divisions. D1 being the best, D2 second best, and D3, well, third best. Within D1, there's FBS and FCS, and put shortly, the talent in FCS is worse than FBS. And after my last video, my viewers started to wonder about a little bit more of a realistic situation, which would be whether or not the best D2 school could beat the worst D1 school, which means that our matchup for this year would be the Harding Bisons versus the McNeese State Cowboys. So let's get started. Harding finished 15-0, while McNeese State finished 0-10. McNeese State's closest loss was by 3 to Eastern Illinois, which is the school that Jimmy Garoppolo went to. I bet most of you are wondering where even McNeese State is. So it's located in Louisiana, and it started off as a branch-out school from LSU and eventually became independent. Currently, McNeese State's enrollment is around 5,000, and Harding's enrollment is around 4,000. For the new viewers, Harding is a small Christian university in Arkansas and won their first ever football national championship by being the first NCAA team, regardless of division, to rush for over 6,000 yards in a season. Yes, 6,000. On paper, McNeese State looks better. Honestly, they're bigger, probably stronger, their QB was a former Iowa State commit, and they run the air raid offense. However, there was obviously something to Harding's success this year, and I believe that Harding had better chemistry, coaching, and game plan. It's way easier to compare the stats between these two teams because, in my opinion, the difference in competition level between the D2 champs and the worst FCS team isn't that much. So, Harding put up a whopping 46 points per game, while only allowing their opponents to score 10 points per game. McNeese State only scored 19 points per game and allowed their opponents to score 38 points per game. Almost completely opposite of the McNeese State air raid offense, Harding ran the flexbone offense this year and ran for over 410 yards per game, while only allowing their opponents to throw for 178 yards per game. McNeese State threw for only 190 yards in an air raid offense and allowed their opponents to rush for 250 yards per game. If McNeese State couldn't figure out Harding's offense, I think they would get gashed in the run game, and it sounds like Harding would take this by a landslide. The only equaling factor to me is that the 2020 and 2021 D2 champions, the Ferris State Bulldogs, played an FCS school this past season and lost. I'd be really curious about this matchup if it actually happened, and although I think it'd be really competitive, I think I've got Harding. Because even though McNeese State is bigger and probably better, the Lions and Calvin Johnson and still went 0-16, and if we're rating drip, I'm going with Harding because I'm not sure what's going on the back of these McNeese State jerseys. That's all for this Growl episode. If you liked what you watched, make sure to like and subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you next time on Growl.